Hello and welcome to Sincerely Elvis Presley. I'm Sean. Whether you're new to the channel or a regular viewer, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. This time around, we're going to look at Elvis's first post-army movie, GI Blues. The movie that reintroduced him to American film audiences and introduced a kind of new Elvis. A little more family friendly, you know, his character is looking after his babies. He's babysitting at one point. You know, you would not have got Vince Everett or Danny Fisher babysitting in Jailhouse Rock or King Creole, so I think you can confidently say that it was a very different Elvis that was being presented to the world. Now, you can kind of understand the appeal to Hal Wallace of, okay, Elvis has been away for 2 years serving Uncle Sam. So a movie where he plays a GI coming, you know, it's that, and a GI in Germany, no less. It's that beautiful transition, isn't it? That sort of almost trying to blend fantasy with reality. Reality, he was there, okay, his first picture, and he's a GI in Germany. It's a little cornball, I guess, but kind of worked, didn't it? Let's face it. GI Blues is a very, very, very different feel to anything that we'd seen in the 1950s. But I don't think we'd yet got to that full Hollywood colourful travelogue that we'd see from Blue Hawaii onwards. You know, there was still some great songs in GI Blues, not least of which when they resurrect Blue Suede Shoes and have Elvis re-record one of his biggest hits from the 50s to play on a jukebox at one stage. But yeah, it's a great movie, let's face it. It's a really enjoyable movie. I personally can still happily watch GI Blues. It's got some beautiful songs, some beautiful ballads. Doing the Best I Can, and particularly Pocket Full of Rainbows is a beautifully haunting track for me. So yeah, I think I'd love to be able to sit here and pull out, that's going back to my Loving You episode, and pull out a Blu-ray and say this is the way to watch GI Blues in glorious high definition. But it's not out on Blu-ray, it's not out on high definition. And because of that, I don't actually own a physical copy of the film. I've got a digital high definition copy that I bought from Amazon. I can watch in high definition whenever I like, and I put those fingers up deliberately because it's not the cleanest of transfers. It's got a lot of dirt and artifacts on the print. It's watchable and it looks fine, but yeah, about time we got a special edition of that, isn't it? Get a Blu-ray release out there. We've had Blue Hawaii, so why can't we have, you know, and that was 4K, so why can't we have a 4K GI Blues? Come on guys, sort it out. You know it makes sense. Let's have a look at the music itself and some of the releases that I have to share. So, this is the soundtrack. Now, what you've got to consider with 1960 is, although GI Blues itself, some of the original filming, the location work and whatever, was taking place while Elvis was in the army, and they did do some location work over in Germany, obviously not involving Elvis at all because he was still an active soldier. But Elvis himself films GI Blues between April and June in 1960, but it's not actually out until November of that year. So there is quite a gap. It's not pushed out with the frenetic speed that some of the recordings were in 1960. But nevertheless, this is the soundtrack album of GI Blues, an absolutely iconic cover. This is, I'm not sure if this is a Red Spot. So this isn't a absolute first press. This would have been later in the 60s, probably 64, 65, this press. But nevertheless, this is a gorgeous condition cover for its age. So that's the closest to an original of the GI Blues soundtrack. And there is your track list, just in case anyone's not familiar with it. So I've got a few represses, and these are nearly all public domain releases. So there's the Wax Time in colour release, and that gives you a really nice reimagining of the rear sleeve, but with new contemporary notes, and it's really nicely done. And this is on your blue vinyl. So that's your Wax Time in colour press. Now we've got this is a doll press, and what's interesting about that is that the Wax Time kind of goes with a white border, not as big a white border as the UK release had, but a white border nevertheless. Whereas your doll is closer really to the American press with no border at all, and your actual cover design going right to the edges. And it stays reasonably faithful as well to the rear. Yeah, not too far off really. And what is this one? If I remember rightly, this is on yellow vinyl. So there's your doll press. Now I also have this one. Now I've spoken in recent videos about my dislike of covers that are reimagined that can't be bothered to use contemporary photographs. But actually, for a reimagined sleeve, this is a Not Now Records. I think that's really good. I really like that. Hence the reason that I picked this one up, because to me, if you're gonna reimagine a sleeve, do it like that. So the actual font is very, very similar to the original, but you haven't got your sergeant stripes and your denotations of military on there, but the actual font itself looks like it's copied. But I think that's brilliant. I really like that. Back sleeve's not too shabby either. You know, it's a fair stab at it. But remember, I think this is a yellow as well. It's more sort of limey, greeny stroke yellow. But yeah, so there's my vinyl. So I've only got the one almost original, and then 3 more contemporary represses of it. CD wise, I've got this release from 1997. So you've got your Elvis logos, what's it say? 77 to 97 there, that they were using for a while. And this is a nice little reissue. This gives you 9 additional alternate masters and outtakes. And this is the sort of thing that these can be picked up for less than £10. You know, they turn up all the time. And get yourself a really nice condition version of this. Let's have a little look at the label. If I can get the inner sleeve out, not the label, the inner sleeve. Do we get much in there? Not a tremendous amount, has to be said. Not the most exciting booklet I've ever seen in my life, but nice little release nevertheless. Now, bootleg territory. This is the Memphis Recording Service. Now this is the Cafe Europa sessions. Cafe Europa, of course, being the original working title of GI Blues. And this isn't entirely the complete sessions. There are some missing, and I think if I remember rightly from David in Japan saying that the ones that are missing are ones that were discovered more recently, so therefore they can't be used because of copyright, whereas the ones that are on here can be used because there's no copyright issues with them. But this is a really lovely little release. This is you know, until we get full sessions of GI Blues, this is what you need. So you get 2 discs there. Oops. 2 discs there. And you get a beautiful book. A beautiful book with, I would say, at least 100 pages. 100 pages with loads of photographs and background on GI Blues. Again, this is one of those MRS rarely, well, never fail to deliver. And this is another fantastic release from them. And this is one of those, the big book style is what we used to get from RCA in the late 90s and early 2000s. But really, this is up there in quality terms with anything official that came out of that nature. It's really fantastic. Absolutely love it. And I think at the time, if I remember rightly, this still can be picked up. But I think I only gave something about £40 or so for this, and it was new and sealed. So when you think about it, 4 discs packed with material for £10 a disc, plus you're getting this beautiful package and a 100-page book. What a bargain. What an absolute bargain. So yeah, I think we, where it comes to getting as much as we can in terms of the GI Blues sessions, we have to go into the world of the bootleg, or in this case, public domain, because of course MRS certainly over the last decade or more have been the masters of these public domain releases, where because of those loopholes in European law, are able to put this material out perfectly legitimately and legally, and do it with such a sense of panache and style and attention to detail and care, and I love them for that. I love them for that. So there's your Cafe Europa sessions. Of course, if you've got deep pockets, you can get yourself some bit of plugging going on there for other releases by them. Now, if you've got deep pockets, of course, you can treat yourself to some FTDs. You've got FTD GI Blues CDs. You've got FTD GI Blues vinyl. They are available. They're not cheap, but they are available. Actually, while I got a bit distracted, I'll let you into some... I like to every now and again let you into the way my mind works, or rather doesn't work. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, let me show you your track listing, just in case you're not familiar with this release. So there are your first 2 CDs. And there's CD3 and CD4. Now, why I got distracted, 2 episodes ago, I did a piece on Elvis in the Army. And it just so reminded me that I forgot to completely show the Elvis Off-Duty CD and the complete private recordings, the other MRS. So there's 2 MRSs that happened while Elvis was in the Army. Oh, and of course, and then there's the official RCA one. Oh well. It would have been too long an episode, so I had to edit it somehow, so I did that deliberately, obviously. Yeah, right. Okay, so GI Blues. Now, when it comes to books, this is pretty much one of the only GI Blues books. And this is an FTD from Memphis to Hollywood 1960. And it doesn't even look like a GI Blues book. Before I got this, I had no idea that actually what this book was giving me was GI Blues. But you see on the front it says, Elvis returns to Hollywood, the GI Blues soundtrack rehearsals, the making of GI Blues, including original Paramount pictures, documents, memos and scripts, includes rare unpublished photographs. So it is a book about GI Blues, but it's kind of a stealth, because from Memphis to Hollywood, 1960, you don't really know you're getting GI Blues, but you do. And that's kind of given away by the first page, really. So what do we get? This is David English solo without Pal Grunland. So we get the lead up. So post the Sinatra show and pre sort of filming for GI Blues, we get some information on what Elvis was up to. Seemed to at this stage really enjoy travelling around on trains. And he's still got that big pompadour going on that gets trimmed back significantly for the GI Blues movie, where we get a sort of approximation of a GI haircut, I guess. Although longer than Elvis's initially was when he first went in the forces. There he is, Elvis on a train again. This is April the 20th, 1960 at Alhambra, California. So he still looks, at this stage, very much like he did on the Sinatra show. Okay, there we go. So, then we go into, look at that, how cool are they? Then we go into April the 20th, 1960, arriving in Los Angeles, and then I think we get him starting to rehearse. Paramount Studios, Hollywood. He's having his hair cut again, sort of recreating those shots in the army when he first lost his hair. Okay. So, yeah, now we're soundtrack rehearsals, Paramount Soundstage, April the 25th and 26th, 1960. And he's back to his sporting that trilby. Or fedora, or whatever you want to call it, but very Sinatra-esque. And then we're recording the GI Blues soundtrack. Brilliant photographs of those sessions. Some great shots. It must have, I mean, I stand by what I said a few moments ago, that the material of GI Blues is still pretty strong in terms of what would follow a few years later. But nevertheless, it's nowhere near as good as the material he recorded just a few short months before for Elvis's Back. So I wonder if, you know, in his own head, if he was thinking, this isn't as good as what I was doing a couple of months ago. And it isn't, is it? Although having, you know, like I said, Pocket Full of Rainbows is gorgeous, but things like Big Boots, you know, I know they fit the context of the film, etc., but they're not up there with the quality of the material that he'd been recording for Elvis's Back. So he must have already noticed that drop in, you know, what he was being asked to do. Couldn't fail to, really. But this is a glorious book, really, really nice. And as I say, it went under my radar initially, because I didn't realise that that's what you'd be getting as a book centred around GI Blues. And then we get some nice colour shots from the movie itself. Very nicely done indeed. Can still get this one. Not sure what it's going to set you back, but well worth picking up. Brilliant record of 1960. It's Elvis and Shirley MacLaine. Brilliant record. Absolutely fantastic. So that, and what do we get? Oh, you actually get your GI Blues soundtrack as your CD. Do we get anything different on it? Nope, original mono master of the soundtrack. But no outtakes in evidence there. It's a bit of a shame really, being an FTD. But fabulous book, and ending with two super cool photographs. Absolutely brilliant. Memphis to Hollywood, 1960. Now, what I've got here is a little box set that was released by Elvis Unlimited. Now, I haven't opened this a tremendous amount, so you're going to be kind of seeing it's not an unboxing as such, but it's not far off, because the last time I opened this would have been 2 or 3 years ago, so I'm not entirely sure what's in it, and I decided not to take a look beforehand, because then I can be as surprised as you, unless of course you've got it and know what's in it, and then you're doing better than I am until I open this up, if you see what I mean. So what have we got? Limited edition, including special DVD and vinyl single. Okay, let's have a little look-see. So we get some facsimiles of some documents around the time. That's from Colonel Parker's office. We get another, what's that? Please withdrew these 2 compact LPs. They will not be released per instructions. I'm not sure what that is. Postcards. Postcards. Then we go to DVD. Not sure what's on it. No doubt it will tell us. When we get to the little book, we get a single of Paramount's GI Blues Word Spots, number 1 to 6. I'm taking that's their some kind of radio commercials. I mean, this has never been out of that. And let's see what the book tells us then. Oh, here we go. We've got a certificate here. Elvis Unlimited Productions is proud to present you with the special limited edition of Inside GI Blues. A restricted number of 2,000 box sets have been manufactured. It is hereby certified that this is number 0202. We sincerely hope that you will enjoy our latest publication. So, yeah, and then we get ourselves a little GI Blues book. So, I don't know what's on that DVD. Does it tell us? I think it does. Unless it tells us in the book. I've got no idea what's on the DVD. Maybe it'll tell us when we get in the book. Let's have a look. Inside GI Blues. So this was 2006, July 2006, first printing. Okay. This really is like, I've never seen this before. I must have got it, had a quick flick through, stuck it somewhere, and I haven't seen it. That's bad, isn't it? It's bad. You know, what a rubbish collector I am. I get this stuff, stick it on the shelf and don't really look at it. I'm sure I did at the time, but yeah, this is like an unboxing, frankly, because yeah, this is new to me. It's in very nice condition. It smells sort of, it's got that smell of, it smells old and new at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's clearly in mint condition, but it's been stored away, so it's given it sort of a musty old smell along with the new smell. It's a strange one, but you know, from what I'm seeing here, this is a fine little book. I know there's quite a few of these inside packages. I've got inside Roustabout. I know there's inside Double Trouble, inside Love Me Tender, and I think there are others that Elvis Unlimited put out at the time. And yeah, I mean, the book is a fine. There's so much in here that, you know, I think this really does feel like a GI Blues book, whereas, as I said, the FTD one was kind of under the radar a little bit. Packed with stuff. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. In fact, one of my subscribers and someone that comments quite regularly on the videos, Julie, hi Julie, recommended that I got the Inside Love Me Tender box, and it's something, if I see cheap enough, I will pick up, because there's no doubt about it, these books are really nicely done, almost, for me, it feels as though this is the main course. The rest are sort of, you know, little bits and pieces, but I'd love to know what's on that DVD. Does this tell us? No, this is a scene breakdown. No, I've no idea what's on that DVD, unless this is gonna... So, if I get to the end of this book and I can't find what's on the DVD, if anyone's got this, let me know in the comments what's on it, will you? Because, you know, I'm gonna when I've finished recording this, I will stick it in the player and have a look. But at this stage, I haven't the foggiest what's on it. Haven't the foggiest. Whether it's... no idea. No idea at all. Which is not unusual for me, as most of you already know. Who said I wing it? Of course I don't. Right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, we've got a list of GI Blues on CD. It just tells you the various issues, but no, it's not telling us what's on that DVD. But I have just noticed something rather amusing. So, as I said, the other one of these I've got is Inside Roustabout, but apparently when this had come out, they were about to produce that, but apparently it was Inside Roustabout. How did that get to the printers and no one noticed that Roustabout was... yeah. Okay, right, I've no idea what's on the DVD, so I'll check it out after this, but if you could let me know in the comments, that would be great for anyone else that's as interested to find out as I am. Okay, so there's GI Blues 1960. Now I think it's just worth just popping back to the sessions that happen in October, where Elvis records his first gospel album, and that's a really significant event and something we can't leave 1960 without talking about. So again, as characterized with 1960, it's a really short... let's have a look. October 30th to the 31st. So, you know, Elvis goes in and like he has done for the rest of that year, bang, 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 and he just produces this amazing stuff in such a short space of time. So he records not only enough material for his first gospel album, and a significant step recording a gospel album, because of course he does it in a way with a band behind him, almost like a I don't want to say a rock approach to gospel, but with that band behind him, the way that he's recorded other material, but recording spiritual music, which is probably a better way of talking about it than gospel, because it's not purely gospel. But yeah, he kind of does it in his own way, which is so Elvis, isn't it? And he also, let's not forget, at that session also records the single Surrender, and he also records Crying in the Chapel, that isn't used until sometime later. So let's just have a very quick look, and I don't want to do His Hand in Mine a disservice by only having a quick look at it. However, I can't really do an episode on its own to it, so it's got to really fit in here, because this is all I'm going to do on 1960. Next time we're going to move to 61. So quick look at His Hand in Mine. There's my original press of the vinyl. On the original, I think it's a big silver spot label. No, actually, it's not. It's a red spot. So this is a reissue, but it's not far off. It's a few years later. And what I also have, and I think I showed this when I did my very first episode on vinyl. This is the Wax Time in colour pressing. Really nice back cover. Really nice contemporary feel, but a rather odd choice of a sort of browny vinyl. I'm still puzzled as to why they did that. And the other vinyl press I have is a doll press. The doll press stays more faithful to the back sleeve of the original, or there or thereabouts, and the doll press is on blue vinyl. But by far the best way to encounter His Hand in Mine is with the FTD Sessions release. You know, this is the gold standard. You get pretty much everything there. If there is anything missing, I'm not sure what it is. So we do get Surrender, we do get Crying in the Chapel, and then we get the rest of the tracks that made up His Hand in Mine. As with all FTD session releases, beautifully put together. Fabulous looking booklet, packed with the usual care and quality, with information. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. I'm not the only one I know, but I can't praise these sessions highly enough. What they give us, just feel spoiled. Just feel spoiled. And you won't find me niggling about them, because, you know, to be given this is just glorious. Absolutely glorious. So Elvis, just look at him. He was just on top of his game in every way at that time. Brilliant. So apologies, it's just a bit of a whistle stop with His Hand in Mine. But as I say, you know, I couldn't really justify a whole episode on it because I don't have enough to show. But couldn't leave 1960 without mentioning the significance of Elvis and his first gospel album. You know, a landmark for him to be able to go in and record an album with the tunes that he'd grown up loving, and putting his own kind of spin on that genre and that material. So absolutely fantastic. And that's about it for 1960 in terms of what I'm able to show. As I said, we had two other movies that were filmed during 1960, but they're not released until 61, so we'll get around to talking about that. And that's Flaming Star, and right at the end of the year you get Wild in the Country. So we will get around to talk about those when we get to 1961. But anyway, if anyone does know what's on that DVD in that box, please do let me know in the comments. I really hope that was enjoyable. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you did enjoy it, do me a favour and stick a click on that like for me, because that's great in terms of algorithms. If for any reason you haven't subscribed, it'd be great if you consider doing so, just so that you can get to know when I put new material out, etc, etc, if you then click on the notification bell. But whatever, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have yourselves a great week, and I hope to see you next time to take a little look at 1961. Until then, take care. Ta-da. Now then, just when you thought you got rid of me for this week, I'm popping back again. Why? Well, you know, I said just a few moments ago that when I film things, I completely forget to include bits and pieces. Well, as I was putting everything away, I thought, why didn't I show that? So I thought I'd pop back and show you while I remembered. There's this. This is from the VPI label, and this was a record day release in, can't even see a year on it, but this was limited to 1,500 copies, and this is Cafe Europa on Uniform, and it's such a beautiful release around GI Blues that I couldn't not show it. So yeah, as you can see, it's a kind of reimagining of the original sleeve. So the layout is the same, but the photographs are slightly different and the colours are slightly different. But this is a absolutely beautiful release, and I couldn't not show this. Look at that. Look at that for a gatefold. Now, what are we getting? Well, what we're getting are what they call cornetto effect vinyl. So there's this one. I mean, isn't that brilliant? And disc 2 gives us that. Absolutely beautiful. I really like those. And we do get a booklet too. So let's have a little look. How could I forget this? I think what it is I've got the actual GI Blues soundtrack itself. It sits in the original releases in chronological order, and I tend to put the represses, like the Wax Time and the Dolls, next to them in order. But then things like this, Record Store Day, have got their own little section. So I just missed it when I was going through, but I couldn't not show you this one, because I'd have kicked myself all week long, and probably into the week after that as well. So I thought, pop back on. They haven't gone anywhere. They're still here. They're willing to let you bang on for a few more minutes. Well, hopefully. I mean, if you've got to the end, chances are you'll stick around. Or you may not. I may be talking to myself. But if I am talking to myself, that's all fair enough. So, brilliant little booklet, beautiful coloured vinyl, and I don't know if I gave you a sort of close-up of the tracks, but you get lots of brilliant alternate tracks as well. So there is your VPI Record Store Day, and I didn't manage to get a release date, did I? When did this come out? I don't think it's that new because it's advertising the Technicolor and black and white book on the back, and that's been out a little while. But we've got to have a date. Right, following the success of Elvis in Paris in 2019. Right, so we know we're after 2019. Why is it places don't put release dates on things? Why is that? I'm thinking this is probably 20 or 21, but I am guessing because they're just not giving me a date anywhere. I'm just not seeing a date. It doesn't even say on the hype for the Record Store Day what Record Store Day it was. So apologies for that. In fact, I can't not tell you. So I'm going to go and I'm going to Google it. So Elvis Cafe Europa, and again, now I'm Googling. That's always such beautiful watching, isn't it? Watching some idiot look at his phone on screen. Fantastic. Oh dear. I mean, I'm struggling to get a date even here. Right, I think we're going 12th of June 2021. So yeah, I wasn't far out. 12th of June 2021. But what a brilliant release! You know, what an alternate look. It's, I mean, with the Cafe Europa, it's very much like the FTD vinyl that came out, calling them Cafe Europa. But yeah, I mean, sometimes if I'm going to be critical of VPI, sometimes their artwork can look a little bit pixelated and blurry. Some of their recent releases haven't looked too fantastic, but this is a really fine one and well worth picking up if you can get a hold of it. I've got to show you that vinyl again because it's glorious. There's your green and red, and there is your blue and red. Cafe Europa on uniform. There you go. Right, that really is it. I'm off now. Take care. Ta-da.
We'll meet you again. May God bless you. Adios.